Let's get into number 9 here because this is interesting.
This is where we go. Right.
This is where things could turn.
Right.
Your whole thing about quarterbacks
Right.
and they're all second-round guys.
This is where it is.
The Saints are on the clock.
Saints are on the clock, right? Ryan Ramczyk just retired. I think some people think, oh, will they maybe go offensive line? I don't think so. I mean, they have 3 first-rounders and a second-rounder on their own line, as it is. Their 2 tackles, as we sit here right now, are both first-round picks. I don't think they're going to go O-line here. Now, the quarterback thing is the question, right? Is the quarterback. And Derek Carr and the injury and all that, which I know a lot of people in the league don't really think it's as serious as maybe he let on. It's a little bit of a political power play, right, that's going on there. Now, do I think they love Derek Carr for the future and want him to be the man forever? No, I don't. But I also sit here and go, wait, just because of that, your first year, are you going to tie yourself to a quarterback that you necessarily don't love if you're Kellen Moore, but just go, well, we need a quarterback, so I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one that I don't love, but now I'm going to be stuck with him here, and we're going to be talked about in the same boat all the time, all together for the next 3 or 4 years? No, I don't think it happens. And I'm just going to tell you, I have yet to talk to anybody that just goes, oh my gosh, yeah, Shedeur Sanders, top 10. There's people in football that think the Saints are desperate and they might take him, but I don't know anybody that has that type of grade on him. I don't know anybody. And then, like I've told you and I've said to the audience here, when I hear multiple teams who all go Dart, Shuck, Sanders are all in the same boat, some people got Shuck over Jackson Dart, that's when I just sit here and go, well, no, I don't think that's going to happen. They're not that desperate to take the guy here. I don't see it happening. I go with Jihad Campbell, Alabama. Linebacker. One, they need it. I mean, Demario Davis, as great as he's been, he's 97 years old playing middle linebacker. Not really. I'm just having fun. And
36.
He's my buddy, and he knows that, so that's why I'm saying that about him.
Former buddy.
Yeah, former buddy until he kicks my ass and I see him. But no, he really is. He is my buddy. And, yeah, I think this is the perfect guy to go, wait, learn from Demario? Let alone Jihad Campbell we talk about Jalen Walker. I want to go, he's got a better first step than Jalen Walker. He's a bigger person than Jalen Walker. He's got better bend than Jalen Walker off the edge. He's a better middle linebacker than Jalen Walker. I have gotten the sense, and I know I've told you this too, that Jihad Campbell is viewed higher than the draft public is viewing him. I'm having him go here number 9 to the New Orleans Saints. No quarterback off the board yet other than Cam Ward.
Shedeur Sanders is the favorite, but it's plus 215, so it's not odds-on favorite.
That says something to you too there, right. I don't know. He doesn't seem like a Kellen Moore guy. I don't know why I say that. I don't feel that, but I could be wrong.
Jihad Campbell is minus 2,000 to go in round 1, but he is minus 200 to go after pick 18.5. So it seems like they've locked him into later in the first round, but you're hearing some things that the NFL likes him as an edge guy.
Yeah.
You look at the linebacker.
The Bengals and Orlando Brown talk about Jihad Campbell.
100%.
Right? You know? So what were you going to say? The linebacker?
Well, you see linebacker, right?
Yeah.
And you see linebackers like running backs have been devalued. You don't take a linebacker or running back in the top 10, but he does more than just
exactly.
That LB does not describe Jihad Campbell.
No, and he's a special one at that. It's special, and yes, he can do a lot of stuff, and we know with these multiple defenses and moving people around and doing all that, when you could play pass rusher and stand-up middle linebacker and be really damn good at both, there's a lot of value in that.
LB off the board. Speaking of RBs, still not one taken so far. A lot of people have linked Ashton Jeanty to the Bears if he does make it this far. Tyler Warren also plus 350. As the co-favorite to Jeanty to go to the Bears at number 10. What do you got?
I got it. Ashton Jeanty. I didn't intend for this to happen, right? I don't try to go into this with any preconceived thoughts. I'm not like, I'm going to put him there. Like, I try to do it legit, what I think's going to happen. I look at the needs and do all that, right? You know, so does the need fit? Or is the best player available so much greater than the need? Maybe they take the best player available, right? I know everybody always has this conversation about, do you draft need or do you draft best player available? I'm a best draft need guy. I'm a draft need guy. I would tell you that all the way. Unless we got to a spot, right, where you go, wait, we need a tackle. None of our good tackles are here on the board or anything like that. It's way down. But, man, this guy's on the board. and we don't have a desperate need here, but the grade is so great, okay, maybe you take the best player available there, right? But more times than not, if I was a GM, I'd be looking to trade down. And that's the way I was brought up. It's the way I was taught in New England. New England was not taking the best player available. They were draft for need. That's why Bill Belichick traded down all those years.
Because
so
the guy
times.
we need the value is not good
not
right
there.
here.
So we're going to trade down, and I'll pick three guys we need at that position and figure out which one's the best 40 picks later or whatever, right? And I'm a believer in that.
That's interesting because draft for need has gotten such a bad rap.
I know
I feel like most GMs are publicly draft best available. That makes so much sense, right?
I know.
Of course. Why would you not take the best available
I think a lot of them are full of shit, though. I think a lot of them just say that for public. I think they say it so people think they'll always take the best player, but they don't want to do that. I think that's something they said, like in New England. They taught me, like, hey, just tell people we draft best player available. And that's not what they believed, right? Oh, if the other team says they love them, tell them you love them too and just join on so they all think we love them so we can get the guy we want, right? There's a lot of BS talk in that world. And I'm not trying to say it's bad. Right. It's doing what you got to do for the best of business, right? And that does go on. And I don't always buy that when people go, oh, I just take best player available. Right?
Yeah.
Like did the Lions take best player available? I don't was Jack Campbell the best player available? No. They needed him. He fit it. That's what they did. Jahmyr Gibbs, I feel like he could do the same thing. Oh, maybe we could have got him later on in the draft. They thought he was the best right there. Let's take him. Boom. Let's go. We need it.
It makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
It's
a good conversation.
It makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
So the Bears.
Oh, sorry, I got to get back to that.
The Bears get. Well, no, I'm processing. What if this were to happen? Your number one running back goes to my guy, who is Benedict Johnson. We have changed his name. Now the head coach of the Chicago Bears has a weapon at running back, and so that will be fun to contend with as a Lions supporter.
I'm going to go with that. Yeah, I mean, again, this is a team that I think is going to be into running the football. I thought about maybe going an edge guy here. I did. Mm-hmm. I thought but they did sign Odiengbo, right, from the Colts. I think they're going to play him at the edge, Montez Sweat at the other edge. And then I go, hey, Ben Johnson, he's all about offense. I think their O-line is okay. I know everybody looks at Braxton Jones at left tackle. He played okay last year. I know he's going into a contract year. But I don't think that just means, we got to draft a left tackle. I think this is just Jeanty will be too good to pass up here, and they go with him, and you say, watch out with that offense in Chicago.
All right, number 11, your 49ers are on the clock.
I know.
Your buddy,
Kyle Shanahan.
They told me this is the one we will get right, so this is guaranteed to be correct. Number 11 pick for the 49ers. The DraftKings favorite position group is either a defensive tackle or an edge guy.
Yeah.
That's plus 145.
That's what I believe they would do.
Okay.
And again, if anybody thinks that Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch have told me anything about what they're going to pick, you're crazy, okay?
And if they did, and if you said it, it would probably be the last time.
It would be
one and done.
Right. So, yeah, I think they want to go O-line or D-line. That would be my thoughts with them. And I wouldn't think it's crazy. I mean, they could go O-line here. I'm going to go with the fact of they started that 49er dynasty with a great defensive line. That's what got them going. And especially with edge pass rushers. And this is where I'm going to go Shamar Stewart. Again, I don't know, but Shamar Stewart has the size, the measurables, everything that I feel Shanahan or John Lynch would like coming off the edge. And with Robert Saleh and going, holy cow, we let this guy get wide and just get after the quarterback, watch out. He's got measurables like a Myles Garrett. We talk about, there's not production, right? We're sitting here telling you, no, disruption is production. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, it'll take a coach that feels confident in their job and a GM that are confident in their job to take Shamar Stewart and only had 1.5 sacks, right? Well, I think these two guys are pretty confident they're not going to get fired this year. So I'm going to go Shamar Stewart, who I believe is the second best edge pass rusher in this draft.
He's your number 2, and he would be, if this were to happen, he would be the number 3 edge guy off the board. And so this is a rise for Stewart. We've already seen the rise for him at the Combine, what he did, and some of the stuff, the traits that stood out. And so he goes 11 in your mock draft to the 49ers. So now the Cowboys are on the clock. DraftKings thinks they are most likely to take a wide receiver, and if they don't do that, offensive lineman.
Yeah.
If they don't do that, corner. If they don't do that, defensive lineman or edge.
I don't see corner. I mean, the secondary is one of the strengths of their football team. I mean, Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs, I don't know. Last time I checked, that's a pretty fucking good duo right
work
there.
our way up. Offensive line would be most likely.
Offensive line is definitely something I could think about here. Yeah, I mean, I definitely went back and forth here.
But they have wide receiver as the most likely.
And listen, I went there too. I did. Now, my thought here was I think there's going to be some really good receivers when they pick in the second round still on the board. My guy Kyle Williams, my guy Jalen Noel. I think they're all going to be there. Mm-hmm. And I'd go, I like, you know me, I like them better than the Ohio State kid, the Texas kid, or the Arizona kid anyway. So, but Omarion Hampton is where I think they go here.
Running back North
Carolina. They need an offensive playmaker, a guy right now that can do something for them. He's special at this position. Brian Schottenheimer is famous for his run game speciality and his ability to run game block and game plan that way. I think they go running back. I think they address the receiver thing in the second, maybe even third round. Again, that's a pretty deep class there this year, so there's guys to be had. But I think this is just too good of a player to pass up. This is one of the elite, guaranteed, safe bet offensive first rounders that can contribute to your team right away. I go Omarion Hampton.
And they've been looking for a running back for a while here.
Right.
And if this were to happen, our friend Chris Johnson would have to take you out for a steak dinner.
Oh, that's right.
You bet a steak on whether Omarion would be a first round pick or not. He liked the talent. He just didn't know the team
that would take him. So just remind me of that Thursday night. We'll make a special video for CJ2K.
Well, we should FaceTime him in to the whole show.
Yeah, that would be fun actually.
So now this mock is getting interesting, right?
Yeah.
We got two running backs off the board now. Jeanty and Hampton are gone.
Yep.
We're just to pick 13.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are on the clock here. DraftKings thinks they are going to take an offensive lineman, or if they don't do that, they think they will take a corner.
I get that thought, and I think those are the two spots. It's secondary and offensive line. I feel like when I look at it, I feel like they're trying to live with the offensive line they have. Okay? There's still Austin Jackson there, who's a first-round pick from 2020. The kid at left tackle, Patrick Paul, shows promise. They drafted him in the second round last year out of Houston at tackle. They got some guys inside. They just signed James Daniel at guard as a free agent, right? Liam Eichenberg's been playing there and going to play guard too. Brewer, center. So I feel like they tried to do all line in free agency so they could do Will Johnson at corner at pick 13.
Out of the University of Michigan.
Yes. Will Johnson, along with Travis Hunter, I think are widely considered the two best DBs in the draft. And Will Johnson is, I think in some teams view the guy like, hey, we need the lockdown man-to-man guy. Like, we like Travis Hunter. He can do a lot of things in the second, but like, I need a guy out here who can cover like the number one receiver and we could feel good about it. I think he's the number one guy as far as that's concerned on everybody's board. I think they need it, and he'll be damn good at it.
So this would be the first corner off the board if you don't include Travis Hunter as a corner, more of a wide receiver for him. He was your number one corner as well when you looked at all the film of these guys. Now, normally, I mean, you like the guys who are burners, and on tape it looked like Will Johnson is a burner. Injured at the end of the year, still has not run his 40. Does that worry you at all?
I mean, a little, but not really, because his tape doesn't, again, to me, it's like, does he run 4.36 or does he run 4.4 flat? Yeah. That's what we're talking about. And I'm fine with either one. And especially, again, I'd love 4.35 and 4.32. That's what I think a lot of the great corners need to be. But he has acceleration of a 4.32 type of guy when he comes out of breaks. His ball skills are phenomenal. And then the size is a skill, as we always talk about.
Yeah.
His ability to stick on to bigger receivers, not let them push him off, bump him around, I think is all going to be a plus in the NFL. Yeah, he's one of the safer picks in the draft, in my opinion.
Pete wants to know, does this mean we could see a Jalen Ramsey draft night trade?
Well, certainly. I mean, that's got to be up in the air there. Now, how that goes down, his contract, how much they're willing to pay, all of that. Yeah, but I think I look at that and go, they got questions at the position anyways, let alone Jalen Ramsey doesn't want to be there anymore. So, yeah, I think that also leads into this whole logic, right?
All right, so Will Johnson off the board, your first corner exclusive that doesn't also play wide receiver. 14, The Indianapolis Colts are now on the clock.
I think this would be their dream come true. I mean, this is like, I had people at the combine asking me this, right? They were like, the Colts need a tight end. Will Tyler Warren be there at number 15? And I kind of was like, I don't know if he will be. I think he might be off the board by then. But here I go, and I know maybe the Jets could take him. Some people think the Bears will, which I don't understand because I just go, well, they got Cole Kmet. He's pretty damn good tight end. Do we really need another one to go along with that? I don't know if I buy that, but those are two teams that he certainly could go off the board earlier than I expect. The Colts, though, with Shane Steichen, that offense, they got a good O-line. Okay, this guy can block. And then, of course, whether it's Daniel Jones or Richardson, keeping a little, oh, wait, I faked to Jonathan Taylor. Now I'm out in the flat, and I got, Michael Pittman Jr. and Pierce downfield. And, underneath is this fucking big, crazy tight end who catches the ball for 5 and turns it into 15 or 20 every time he does it. And we saw when Shane Steichen had Dallas Goedert in Philadelphia. It was a special combination. I think they go with that here. Tyler Warren's the pick 15 Colts.
There's probably going to be a prop bet out there. Who's going to make the first pass for the Indianapolis Colts this year? Is it going to be Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson? I'd put a couple bucks on Tyler Warren out there. I mean, imagine that. We saw it at Penn State. Oh, my gosh.
That would
You'd
be
make
amazing.
it killing. Now, this is not betting advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, but it's just a thought that I had. So
I hear you.
The Colts get their dream scenario in Tyler Warren, 15. The Falcons are on the clock. Last year at this time, we were saying, they're going to take Dallas Turner, edge 8, lock it in. It seemed like one of the picks that was most certain of anything. And we all know what happened when Michael Penix's name was read. So you got the Falcons here, still a need at edge a year later.
Yeah, it is. You look at them, you go, maybe could they use another corner? Would that make sense? I think you could sit here and you could also go D-tackle. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think it's a crazy thought here. Offensively, I look at them and go, they don't really need anything offensively that I go this desperate in the first round. To me, the most glaring thing on their team is pass rusher. That's what it is. I know they got Leonard Floyd. They signed a free agent. He's a real good player. He's not your 10, 12 sack a guy that you're 12, 10 sack a year guy that you're going to think of that way. He's great to have on the edge and does a lot of good things. Ebikide, right, from Penn State a few years ago in the second round in 2022. Again, a solid player, but nobody's offensive coordinators in fear when they're going, oh, no, these guys are coming off the edge. Mike Green, Marshall, right, one of the most gifted pass rushers in this draft, athletic, can run around, do different things on this defense, and let alone he's just a hell of a player. I've kind of said I compared him to Leonard Floyd, I think, coming out in our draft process a little bit, except I think he has better pass rush skills than Leonard Floyd. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Falcons here.
A lot of people like Mike Green. He is a 1,400 favorite to go in round 1. Atlanta has not drafted a defender, though, in round 1. Since 2020. It's been a bit.
A.J. Terrell?
A.J. Terrell.
The corner.
Last 4 years has gone Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, then Michael Penix. And these are all top 10 picks.
Yeah,
too.
and they took a lot of linemen like in the first few rounds the last few years, offensive linemen. I think this is the year. We got down the stretch of the year, and who on Atlanta is going to make a play other than Jesse Bates, right? I mean, that's kind of what it felt like. Jesse Bates, is he going to make an interception? If he doesn't, who else will? They need somebody like this that can change the game a little bit. Mike Green can do that.
So now we go to the Cardinals. Before we take a break, we're on the clock at 16 overall. DraftKings thinks they're most likely to take a defensive lineman. If they don't do that, they think they will take an offensive lineman.
A defensive lineman wouldn't shock me. The fact that they got Dalvin Tomlinson, they got Calais Campbell, and let's not forget Darius Robinson, who they took in the first round last year, who got hurt early in the year, right? Who they loved. Like you were hearing, this kid's going to be a superstar talk in their summer, training camp. So we can't forget he's there, and he's a kind of a D-tackle, D-end hybrid, right? He does a little bit of everything. I feel like with the Dalvin Tomlinson signing and the Calais Campbell signings, they're kind of going, we're not going to take D-tackle here. At least not here at this point. I could certainly see it in the second round. But here, when I just get into them, to me, the biggest thing that they need to worry about, I think, is O-line. O-line. And I just look at them and go, wait, this quarterback, you got a good receiver, right? You made some additions to the D line anyways with Josh Sweat in free agency too. let's get somebody on the interior part of the O-line who's a special player, and that's where I'm going to go Gray Zabel from North Dakota State.
North Dakota State.
He could play tackle. They don't really need tackle. They got Jonah Williams and, of course, Paris Johnson Jr., who they took in the last first round 2 years ago. I think this now, you get the interior guys. It feels like a Monty Ossenfort. He was in New England with me type of pick. Let's get some big, tough guys. You also got to think about this. What division you play? You're playing with the Rams, who got a bunch of fucking ass kickers on the D-line right now. The Seattle Seahawks are up there in that category. And we know the 49ers might not be what they are, but they still are pretty damn good. And they get Shamar Stewart. You better worry about it a little bit, too. I just look at it that way. I think it's O-line here. But I can see the D-tackle thing, Ahmed.
Your fourth offensive lineman off the board goes pick number 16 to the Cardinals. And I know you don't scout the helmets.
Yeah.
But North Dakota State, pick number 16, middle of the first round. I know he's a good player. He's a great player. You just always wondered about that level of competition, right?
I know. And so it's where I don't expect him to be a left tackle. I think we're going to see a total guard here. And I'm comfortable with that. I know the competition's always a worry when you're at those type of schools. But it wasn't like he was stalemating a lot. He was kicking some ass.
Senior
and
Bowl.
let alone you see enough at the Senior Bowl, the Colorado game, and some other games that go, oh, those are big-time schools, and he whooped that ass in those games too, right?
All right, so that is halfway through the first round.
Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Hey, just because the season's over, it doesn't mean we're over. We ain't going anywhere. The NFL never dies.
We're staying right here. Hit subscribe. We got every NFL move. We'll react to that. Plus, Chris has got 4,719 draft prospect profiles to do.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe. You know where to find us. Peace out, homies.